Hi everyone, my name is Kendall and I'll be talking about the WannaCry ransomware attacks. First off, ransomware is malicious software that blocks the user's access to their computer system until a set amount of money is paid. The WannaCry ransomware demanded $300 to restore access to a user's system. As per numerous reports, these attacks affected primarily European countries as well as Japan and China. Russia was also hit. With over 150 countries infected total, it had a wide spread. It is believed that around 300,000 computers were affected, according to a White House Homeland Security advisor. These computers could have been individual computers, hospitals, banks, warehouses, and other businesses like telecommunications companies. And the computers that were infected were Microsoft Windows computers, especially those that had not been updated in their software and didn't have patches. There were three key players involved with these attacks. The first was Microsoft. It was a vulnerability within the Microsoft Windows software, and apparently there was an update that protected from this vulnerability that was set out, but if someone hadn't updated their software, then they wouldn't have gotten this update. The next organization involved is the NSA. According to reports and allegations from Microsoft, the hack was discovered by the NSA, who then kept that information on file to possibly use for surveillance in the future. This was discovered because a group of hackers known as shadow brokers stole NSA data and then released it online. As well as Microsoft and the NSA, a press briefing from the White House holds accountability for these attacks on North Korea. There are laws in place that deal directly with the cyber world. One of these is the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. This law is essentially a federal anti-hacking act that focuses on unauthorized access to computers and networks. This law can be interpreted in many different ways, and because of that, there have been several attempts for reform. A lot of that reform involves prosecutors misusing and misinterpreting this act. Another related law is the Cybersecurity Enhancement Act, which centers on ways to improve cybersecurity through research, education, and public awareness. It also involves supporting standards and procedures that can reduce cyber risks. There's also other laws that can be used for prosecuting cybercrimes, such as the Economic Espionage Act, and several states have passed their own computer crime laws. In this class, we've continually discussed three models of ethics. The first model is virtue ethics, which is going to focus on the acts and the attitude of those committing the act, or in this case, the hack. So it would focus more on why are they doing this, what is their attitude. It also focuses on intent. Like, are they doing this maliciously? In this case, it is ransomware, so it is going to be malicious. The second model is the deontological ethics, which focuses more on the reason behind why this is happening in the individual. Like, why would someone do this, and how does it affect them individually, and how they see what these attacks do. The last model of ethics that we deal with in this class is utilitarian ethics, which is going to focus on the consequences and the endpoints, not so much the intent of the person. You're going to focus more on what their actions resulted in and not just focus on the individual themselves. In summary, the WannaCry ransomware attack centered on Microsoft Windows computers, and the computers were affected in over 150 different countries. As per a White House briefing, it's believed that North Korea was behind these attacks. And not only was Microsoft part of the blame, but it also appears that the NSA had something to do with the vulnerability that was taken advantage of. And as I mentioned previously, there are a lot of laws that have been created specifically to help deal with these kind of attacks. and can be used to prosecute in a court of law. And as we've progressed throughout this class, we've seen the various different ethical models that we've used applied to various different situations. And it can be applied to ransomware attacks and pretty much any other attack, as well as just any situation in the cyber world that might involve an ethical decision. Thank you for listening to my presentation.